Welcome back to the Secret Stash podcast. My name is Chuck Charlton from the Charlton Advantage team, filming live from Milton, Ontario and broadcasting live from Milton, Ontario. So today we're going to talk about the buying and the selling plan, and it's one of the more complicated maneuvers in real estate. It's also one of the most impactful, and for most of your life, aside from being a first-time buyer, this is probably what you're going to do. So it's one of the most commonly questioned elements of real estate. How do I do this? What do I do first? That kind of thing. So we're going to answer that today. Whether or not you buy or sell first, usually the very first thing we look at is the value of your house. So value is changing constantly. Even one of your competitors may decide that they really need to sell, and then they sell it for a lot less than what you're expecting or what previous homes have sold for. And that becomes the new watermark. So you want to be really careful in how you plan this out. We always shoot for the best results possible once you're actually on the market, but we also want to look at it and say, let's plan towards the conservative end. I'd rather you find an extra $25,000 that you weren't expecting instead of aiming for that sort of perfect ideal number, and then it just doesn't work out and the whole plan kind of falls apart. So we do believe in planning conservatively, and values do change, and so we want to not attach ourselves to the value at any point. Even on day one, what you might find is day 14, values change. So we even have a concept that we talk about on our team is pricing ahead of the market. If the market is heading up and it's improving, we might be able to get away with pricing a little bit higher. If it's going down, you've got to be real careful of missing that market, and in some cases it makes sense to almost sort of price ahead of your competition. But again, that's something we go over in person. The second thing is the appearance. So with any home, there's usually two phases. The first phase is the project phase, right? So fix up, so things like, do you replace your flooring? Do you paint? Are there any deficiencies in the home? I mean, ideally you want to eliminate as many objections as possible so that a buyer sees you as more of a, what we call a retail product versus a wholesale product. If they start to see deficiencies, the natural tendency, and I've even seen this from agents too, is they tend to overestimate how much those things cost. So they might double the cost of a roof, might say, oh, it's $10,000, when in many cases it's probably half of that. And what ends up happening is you net out less. Now, not every situation can people do fix-ups and improvements, but ideally, what would it look like, and what's the expected return on investment? So the next step for us is what we call a home enhancement. So this would be where we start to do things like declutter, formulating a plan for every room. We work with the very talented Leanne Robertson of our projects, and she assists our clients in going through that step. So I always think of myself as, I can tell you return on investment for what you're going to do. Leanne will help you make your home look really good and get it photo ready. Now the last step, if you need assistance here, is we offer smart staging. We have many storage units full of stuff, and we use those with our clients' homes. So whether you need a side table or bedding or the bed itself or table, whatever it is, we can put it in the house, and we're constantly adding new inventory on our team. So the last part, you can have a well-priced home, you can have it look good, but if no one knows about it, it's not going to sell. And most agents who are listing a home, we lump them into the group. 80% of the agents out there are going to do 3 Ps. They're going to put a sign on the lawn, they're going to put it on MLS, and then they're going to pray someone else sells it. And that's really the extent of their marketing plan. And we always think, okay, what else can we do? What's the highest version of marketing that'll get the word out to the most amount of people? And remember, you have two audiences. You have buyers, and you also have other agents. So a lot of people are surprised by this, but in Milton, there's 120 real estate agents that have sold more than 2 homes in the last 365 days. And guess what? By nature of me knowing that, guess which list of emails that I have? So we can oftentimes start from a running start and give the agents a heads up before a home is ever listed, versus a standing start, which is what most agents do, is they begin the process of looking for a buyer after the sign goes up. So we've been looking for the buyer even for the last 10 years. We have 15,000 people in our Milton Daily Homes list. We also have 1,800 people on our price report. That might be a buyer right there calling us on the phone if you hear that in the background. So we have a lot of people that we can reach. Facebook ads have been a great resource for us because remember, you want to build out who you think your target audience is, and then you can actually say, you know what, I think a young family is going to buy this. So let me put a Facebook ad between people aged 25 and 40 years old. That kind of thing is all possible. We can do it by radius. We can even put it towards men or women. We can put it in a specific time period. So maybe they're busy at work. We think we're going to get some more traffic in the evenings. We can place those ads very strategically. So anyway, customized websites, there's a lot of things. There's probably about 150 steps we do in our marketing plan. So once you have that on the selling side, now we move and say, what is it going to take on the buying side? So area, features, and price are the big ones that we want to focus on. Are you moving to a new geographic area? There's going to be different market conditions there. Okay, these are going to be the same area. Even in Milton, condos could be doing something completely different than single detached homes, semi-detached, rural, all kinds of different factors are at work there. It's not just one market. It's not the GTA or Milton. It's a very specific niche that you want to zone in on. So another one we do is we look at the last 90 days of sales and we say to a buyer, how many of those would you have potentially been interested in? And that'll give you a good sense of what the next 90 days is going to look like, because we want to figure out which one's easier or more impactful to do. And I'll get to that in just a second. So features, there's a difference between wants and needs, right? So we want to clarify those. And then we also want to look at how much is it likely going to cost. That's another advantage of looking historically back. The in-between buy and sell, there's two major things that people want to know. First one is, do I buy or sell first? And I just talked about it. The more impactful or the more important one is usually the one you do first, or the harder one. So if you're selling a horse farm, you're buying a townhouse, usually there's enough townhouses out there, but the horse farm is tricky to sell. So in that case, selling the horse farm is probably your better option, because it might take you a year to sell the thing, and there's probably going to be enough townhouses to choose from once it's sold. Now, maybe you need to hit a certain number in order for the rest to make sense. Sell first would be your better option. If you're looking at an area or for a style of home that doesn't come out every day, you might choose to buy first. I would say probably 60% of our clients end up buying first and then selling afterwards, because the market's been pretty good and they know that the sale, I mean, it's never easy, but the sale was the easier out of the two. And then costs. So there's some costs, whether it's land transfer tax or lawyer fees or real estate fees, or a big one that people don't look at is the mortgage penalty to break their mortgage. That's a huge cost too. So I normally estimate that is between probably 5 and 10% of the value of their house. So if you're selling a $700,000 home, it's not unusual to find $70,000 worth of expenses on both sides. Obviously, that can change a whole lot. It helps probably to look at, again, the conservative version of this is look at the higher end of those costs, but we do want to plan some of those out too. If you don't do any one of these steps, what you're going to find is that you're getting surprised. And surprises are great for birthday parties, but not for real estate transactions. So if you want us to give you a sense of what each element is about for you, for your specific case, you can reach out to us at 905-693-9346. Or you can visit our website, charltonadvantage.com. We've got a lot of resources there, or you can even reach out with any one of the forms. So that's it. That's the secret stash, and we'll see you next time.